So we are recording, and this will be up on our YouTube channel, our Oily Friends YouTube channel, in the next day or two. I wanted to cover some basic information in these, and so that's my goal. Some of this may be new to you guys, and some of it may be something you already known. But if it's something you already know, share it with your members and make sure they know it. It kind of took some of us a while to figure some of this stuff out, and I just want to make sure that all of our new members know this information, not just for helping detox our home, but also to save money doing it. I will look over people's accounts occasionally, not as often as I'd like to. And sometimes I'll see things in there, and I would see maybe like in talking to them, how they could have saved more or got more for their money or something. And so I just want to make sure that everybody's doing that the best they can. So we're going to talk both about healthy home swaps as well as savings. And so swapping out products in our home that are maybe not very good for us at all, and how to swap them out. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the hidden toxins in household cleaning products. The first thing after someone gets their kit that we like to see them replace is their cleaner. Because if you take all of the things that are under somebody's sink in their kitchen, you can replace them with one healthy thing, which saves a ton of money, and it avoids a ton of toxic chemicals in the home. There is no need to, call poison control if a child gets at this cleaner, but these other ones, there are a lot of risks, and this is just showing a few of many. There are even some with natural, that are more like natural companies that have other ingredients that are known allergens, which we'll kind of talk a little bit about too, and things like that. So window and multi-purpose cleaners can and usually contain ingredients that are really harmful to the lungs, and when they're absorbed through the skin, as well as breathed in and things like that. And then most people don't realize that using bleach in the home actually poses a lot of risks for people. Using bleach in the home, there's a risk for breathing it in, as well as coming into contact with it on our skin. Our skin, our body on the outside as well as the inside, has a microbiome, and it needs beneficial bacteria in order to combat any pathogenic or bad bacteria that our body comes in contact with. So if we're using ingredients that have bleach or that have antibacterial agents like hand soap from the store and things like that, what we're doing is we're basically killing off our body's first line of defense when we come in contact with bad bacteria, germs, things like that, because we need to have that good bacteria on the surface of our skin and everywhere else. And so that's another risk that most people don't even think about when it comes to using those things. And a lot of people notice that their family's issues, breathing issues, respiratory issues, asthma, things like that go away when they switch out the cleaners in their home. So obviously that is our Thieves household cleaner. The number one thing to swap after somebody gets their kit and they use up that sample of it that comes in most of the kits. The concentrate, because it's concentrated, it literally costs cents per ounce, and you could look up the cost savings on it. I didn't include it in here because it compares it to other companies' products, and that's not something that we're encouraged to do just because we don't, necessarily want to say like this company's bad and target companies in that way. But if you look at the cost savings, people are spending at least twice as much, if not 3 to 4 times as much, on natural cleaners that aren't natural, and they're not, as beneficial as this. The cool thing is, and I say this a lot, so you've probably heard me say this before, is that when we use our Young Living products around the home, we're actually giving ourselves therapeutic benefits. We're not just avoiding toxins. We're actually supporting our health in that positive way, as well as avoiding toxins. So I love that. And so the same oils that we use for therapeutic purposes in, in the bottles, in the essential oil bottles, are the same oils that are in these cleaning products. If you're buying products from the store that have essential oils listed as the ingredient, those are going to be what's called perfume grade essential oils. And those are a very, very low grade of essential oils, which are usually not really just essential oils in them, but contain other ingredients that are used to adulterate them or extend them so that they're cheaper. And so there's that difference as well. So if you look it up, it generally tends to be about 5 cents per ounce of cleaning. And so out of one Thieves household cleaner concentrated bottle, you'll get at least a dozen spray bottles of cleaning solution. If you're wondering if it actually works, because it's so diluted by the time you put it in the spray bottle, I just want to let you know that I've done some experiments at home with hydrogen peroxide. If you've ever sprayed peroxide on something that has like meat juice on it, or something that's really high in bacteria or other things like that, it foams and it sizzles and it turns white. And so what I did was I had that on a countertop, and I used peroxide on half of it. Actually, I think what I did one time is I used peroxide on the whole thing. And then, how did I do that? No, I used peroxide on half of it, and then I used Thieves Cleaner on the other half of it. When I was done with the side that I used Thieves Cleaner on, I sprayed the peroxide on it to see if it would foam and sizzle like it did on the other side when there was still stuff left. And there wasn't any of that action going on. So I knew that the Thieves household cleaner took care of everything, not just what I could see, but what I can't see as well. So that's the number one thing, the way to save a ton of money and also to get lots of toxic products out of the home. The next way is really looking at the home, body care products and things like that. So we're talking about soaps and shampoos and things like that. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on that too. But before I do, I would just kind of want to share some things to think about, because our skin is our biggest organ. What we come into contact with our skin affects our health greatly. And if you think about it too, that a baby's skin, children, they're so much more susceptible to the ingredients and products and things like that. So just as an example, sulfates, like sodium lauryl sulfate in shampoos and soaps and things like that, it actually strips the skin of its natural oils. And so a lot of people might be like, I have really dry skin. And it might just be because they're using a soap or some other body care products that contain sodium lauryl sulfate. And that sodium lauryl sulfate is just constantly stripping their skin of its natural oils. And then what that does is it actually stimulates the body to produce more oils, which can cause other problems as well. And it makes the skin more susceptible to inflammation and an allergic reaction or rash or things like that. It's not necessarily like where it'll happen right away when you use it. And so some people will use a product that has ingredients like these in it for years, and then all of a sudden the skin hits that breaking point and it causes a reaction, and they think, well, I've used this product for years, it can't be this product. But that's where that tipping point comes into play. Some other things, one of the really bad things that I want to talk about is parabens. Parabens will be listed on the label as like methylparaben, butylparaben, propylparaben, but anything with paraben at the last part of the word. The body mistakes these for estrogen. And so what happens is it basically creates an estrogen dominance in the body, which as somebody who's helped a lot of people over the last 10 years, I can tell you that most women have estrogen dominance, and it's the cause of most women's health issues, not just hormonal issues, but emotional, mood, and other things like that. When the body is mistaking these for estrogen, it's building up toxic levels of estrogen in the body. This decreases the muscle mass in the body. It increases fat deposits and weight gain. For young girls, it starts early onset of puberty, and then it's also known to contribute to cancer. And so it's a big reason why there's an increase of breast cancer and things like that. So that's another really important one to watch out for. And some of these other ones you might not have heard of, maybe you've heard of, maybe you're like, I don't really see that often. Synthetic fragrance is another one. And like I said before, just because something says essential oils, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're pure or that they're not synthetic fragrances. Because if it's a product that comes from the store, it says essential oils on it, they're likely not using a good grade of essential oils in those. There's no way to know if they're adulterated, if they're cut with synthetics. Based on the price, usually you can tell that they are. So that's just another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at products. So kind of just be aware, look at those things. I know that even like propylene glycol is in some of the really popular natural products that are used for cleaning and soaps and things like that. I have a lot of people who are like, look, I switched over to healthy ones, and then I'll see that it has propylene glycol in it. And that's not great. So you can also look that one up and see what the issues are with that one. But again, most of these are really just overall contributing to the body just having inflammation and being reactive to things. So another thing for switching out is the hand soap from Young Living. There's a few options. With the holiday catalog, there'll be more, but we use mostly the Luscious Lemon and the Thieves foaming hand soap. And I always get the refill, and I forgot to put a picture on here to show you guys, but I always get the large refill bottles. And what I do is I dilute it. You can dilute them. Even if you get the regular foaming hand soap pump bottles, you can dilute those. So take that, pour half of it out, and then fill up the rest of the way with water slowly, of course, because you don't want it to bubble and foam all over so that you can't fill it up. But if you dilute it halfway, it'll go a lot farther and it works just as great. One of the things for me, and if you have kids, this is likely true for you, using a foaming pump bottle, whether you use the ones that come from Young Living for the Thieves foaming hand soap or the Luscious Lemon foaming hand soap or something else or another top, I won't use any kind of other top with my hand soaps because when it foams, it seems like it's more, and the kids are less likely to do multiple squirts of it. And so it saves money that way too, because all they need is one pump. But when it's not foaming and it's just a tiny little squirt, to them, it might not seem as much. So foaming is the way to go. And then diluting your hand soap refills. The refills are the best price per ounce. And especially then when you dilute it halfway too. Sometimes I'll even dilute it a little bit more than halfway. Okay, the laundry soap. My pictures aren't coming through for some reason. I did have pictures on here, but they're not coming through, so I'm sorry about that. The Thieves laundry soap, you can dilute into 3 large bottles. You can do 2. Some people just like to do 2. I do 3 almost all the way full. So there are these large pump bottles that I get from Amazon. And there's some information in our Oily Friends group on that too. And what I'll do is divide up 1 bottle of Thieves laundry soap in those, and then fill the rest of the way with water. And then I add about, for a normal size load, 5 pumps. I have a washing machine that is large capacity, and we do very large loads in there. And I'll do about 8 pumps per load. I've been using this soap and nothing else for my laundry for years, even when I was doing cloth diapering and things like that. It works fabulous. So I know that for a while when we had laundry, a washing machine that was not working well and it was stinky. It seemed like the laundry soap wasn't working, but once we switched out to a new washing machine, it was great. One thing that people notice when they switch from a synthetic fragrance or something else like that laundry soap is that their clothes seem to smell. And what I like to remind people of is your clothes smelled like that all along. It's just that the strong chemical fragrance in the laundry soap masked it. And so now that it's not being masked, you're just smelling what was there all along. And so there's kind of a detox period when it comes to switching over from laundry soap. But basically, if you take the price of the laundry soap and you're like, whoa, that's too much. Just remember, it's very, very concentrated. So you can split it up into 3 bottles. It lasts even my family of 7 months. So, and we go through a lot of laundry. And so, he'll have to see how cheap it is. But some people even will like write tally marks or whatever on their bottle for each load that they do and count out how many loads they get. And it's a lot. Okay, another thing, dilute the Thieves dish soap. I have been using this dish soap for a long time, and it was out of stock. I think it is again. And I went to the store, to Whole Foods, and I'm like, surely there's got to be something that will work until I can get some more Thieves dish soap. And I looked on the labels, and they contain some of the things that I told you about before, like propylene glycol, even like the natural ones, the organic ones. Sodium lauryl sulfate was in one of the Whole Foods branded one. I looked at Mrs. Meyer or whatever it was, and that one contained, I think it was propylene glycol and synthetic fragrances. And so I literally did not find anything else. In a pinch, I will use Thieves household cleaner before I will use anything from the store. But this one is also concentrated. So I will split this bottle of Thieves foam, dish soap into 2 separate bottles and fill with warm water. Some people, remember, sodium lauryl sulfate really only serves one purpose in the soap, and that is to make bubbles and to make us think it's totally just a psychological thing, to make us think that it's cleaning. So if you're switching over and you're like, I need more bubbles, like this just doesn't seem clean to me, because that's just what we're used to, you can add 1 teaspoon of baking soda to each bottle when you're diluting it, and that'll help give you more bubbles. So just a little bit of a tip there to increase your soap and bubbles if you need to. But one of the things, these words, and I'm not even going to try to say them, the methyl and the benzosol, those are in like 7th generation and things like that. I think they were also in the Mrs. Meyer I was looking at the other day at Whole Foods. That's in their dish soap. And if you look up this ingredient, it's actually like not allowed in Canada. It's not allowed in Europe. And if it is used, there has to have a strict warning on it. It's a known allergen, and it can cause skin sensitivity and issues like that. So it's a synthetic preservative, and it's pretty much in all natural cleaners. So to be fair, it's really, really hard to formulate products without chemical preservatives. Young Living's the only company that has a lab that's committed to doing that. It doesn't make it okay. I don't want it on my skin. And so, you know, whenever the dish soap does come back in, I just buy a few bottles, and I know that it'll last me quite a while because of how I can dilute it. Oh, my pictures aren't coming through. Okay, I'm gonna stop my screen sharing for just a second and see if I can figure out why I'm not getting my pictures through. But I'm gonna talk about the vitality savings. When you're using vitality oils, not necessarily in place of herbs, but maybe to boost your herb use or something like that. I think it's working now. Let me try this. I'm gonna try it one more time. I have the cost on here. Okay, let's see if that'll work. There we go. Okay, so this is what we call flavor burst. You can use it to add flavor to your foods in place of the herbs, or in addition to them. But I probably have some soggy organic cilantro sitting in my fridge right now because I don't know what my deal is. I love it. I would eat it in place of lettuce, but for some reason, it goes bad fast. I wrap it in paper towels still and seal it tight, and it still does it. And so I love having cilantro oil on hand. And if you look at the cost difference, there's a lot of power in 1 drop of cilantro vitality. I would compare it to half to 1 bunch of organic cilantro. And so you can see how it's like a savings of a ton. Sometimes it's like 90%. If you look at citrus oils versus other things you would use to put in citrus recipes, recipes that call for citrus, it's like half the cost. It never goes bad. One drop goes a long way. And so you'll have the oil bottle of some of these for quite a while, for years sometimes. So there's another little simple swap and savings. Okay, this one I want to tell you about for the kit. So if you're looking to like replenish some oils, or you're like, oh, I want a couple of these oils or something like that, you want to see if they're in one of the kits, because the kits are a huge, huge savings. So even like the premium starter kit, you know, if you're using all your frankincense and lavender and peppermint and Thieves Vitality, and you're going through them pretty fast, you can always get the premium starter kit again. And most people don't know that when they first start out, that you can actually buy the premium starter kit again and again and again. It's like a 50% savings compared to buying those things separately. So that's one option. But if you look at the kits also that are available on Essential Rewards, which we'll talk about in a little bit too, then you're going to get more savings on some of those. So for instance, say you're looking at some of the oils, like I'm kind of going off my head and I hope I'm right, but like the emotional oils, and you're looking for the emotional support, like release and inner child and gratitude and things like that. If you look at the feelings kit for them, that's a savings of almost $100 on there. So there are a couple oils in there that you'll get for free, basically, if you decide to get some of the other ones and you just get the kit instead. Same with the Ancient Oils of Scripture kit. If you're looking at frankincense and myrrh and ones like that, look at that kit, because that's a savings of over $100. So I think, let me see here, sandalwood is in that kit, and sandalwood is $100 oil. And so you're basically like getting that oil for free just by getting those other oils in the kit. The raindrop kit, we're talking marjoram, peppermint, thyme, and wintergreen and oils like that. You're saving over $60 by getting them all in the kit with the V6 and the Ortho Ease carrier oils as well. The Golden Touch kit is one that those are oils that people tend to go through a lot. Like I'm trying to doing this off the top of my head because I lost my notes, but like Digest, and I think I want to say Endoflex is in there, and some of those other ones that we like taking capsules consistently and stuff. That's a $20 savings. So just something to think about when you're looking at replenishing some stock, or some, you know, a combination of some other oils. Okay, so another thing to think about is sometimes when people are switching over their supplements, they're like, well, these supplements are maybe more expensive. But one thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you're using Young Living supplements, your body's getting more than it is with other supplements. So for instance, just a couple of examples. Let me see here. Liquid minerals. And I actually kind of did this experiment with myself, and I had some liquid minerals from another company that did not have essential oils added to it. And then I had mineral essence. And there are a few different things that happen. Number one, the symptoms that I had that I need mineral essence for, especially when I first started on it, they did not go away with the liquid mineral supplement. They did as soon as I switched that same dosage to mineral essence. Also, when they did some research on the liquid minerals without essential oils, it would cause loose bowels, which basically was indicating that the body wasn't getting what it was taking. So it could be half the price, but you're also absorbing half of the nutrients in it or less. And so you're really kind of not getting anything for any cheaper. When they added essential oils in this research that they did to the liquid minerals, it didn't cause any loose bowels. And so the body was absorbing every bit of it for the most part, because it wasn't being eliminated through the bowels before the body could absorb it into the tissues. Another example, so take multigreens. When they did research on this, before they added essential oils, there was a 42% absorption in 24 hours. So 42% absorption in 24 hours in a whole day. Then they added the essential oils to it. there was a 64% absorption in just 30 minutes. And then in 1 hour, there was an 86% absorption. So the first one was 42% in 24 hours. With the essential oils, it was twice as much, more than twice as much, 86% in just 1 hour. And so again, it just goes to show that if you're paying half as much and absorbing half as much, it's really not any cheaper. And your body's just going to get so much more when it's better quality supplements. Another thing too is it's really cool because Young Living was the first company to ever put essential oils in their supplements. Many still do not. There are a few that kind of have followed suit and seen the benefits of it and things like that. But Young Living was the first one, and Gary Young worked really hard to figure out how to put them in the supplements in a way that worked, that dispersed them well, didn't cause clumping and things like that. So it was pretty cool to see that persistence pay off and give us some benefits that way. Okay, so when you're replenishing your Ningxia, for all you newbies who don't know, there are different savings depending on which way you're replenishing it. Now, this is going to kind of maybe change, not the prices, but how you shop with winter time coming, because you don't want to order the bottles necessarily if it's going to be freezing during shipping and things like that. But overall, the Essential Rewards kit is the most savings on the Ningxia Red. So that ends up being like $1.22 an ounce. Whereas, you know, you look at some of the other ones and it's $1.44 or $1.35 or something like that per ounce for Ningxia Red. So if you can get the Essential Rewards kit, that's going to save you the most on Ningxia Red. And then we talked about Essential Rewards. I have to bring this up. I especially want to get this message across for our newbies, because what pains me is when I'm looking through my organization and I'm seeing people put in monthly orders not on Essential Rewards, and I look and I total it up, and I'm like, I have to tell them that they missed out on $70 worth of free stuff for the last 3 months of orders not being on Essential Rewards or something like that. And it just pains me to have to tell them that. So I just want to make sure we let our people know that Essential Rewards is where you're going to get more freebies. You're going to get 10% off back, basically, the months 1 through 3. Then it switches to 20% at months 4 through 24. And then after 2 years, you're getting 25% back on every single monthly order. And so for me, on a 300 PV order every single month, that means $75 in free stuff every single month. And so, you know, if you're placing maybe like a $200 order 1 month and then nothing the next month, and then maybe $100 one, if you maybe spread that out over 3 months and decided to do it on Essential Rewards instead, then you're going to get 30 points back for free stuff. And that's $30 worth of products for free. So just wanted to make sure that we don't forget to mention that. And again, some of those, like the Ningxia Red kit, is only available on Essential Rewards when you get the Essential Rewards kit for the best deal. So, oh, and then, I mean, obviously you get more freebies with being on Essential Rewards too. And there's the gifts at 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, and every 12 months again after that for being on it. Okay, last thing I want to make sure that our newbies know is save even more money by earning cash back from Young Living. Super easy to get your referral link from Young Living. All you have to do is log into your virtual office, which is just another fancy name for your account. Go to member resources, and underneath that, you'll see something that says link builder. It'll already be pre-formulated with your number in it. Copy, paste it, share it. You can earn cash for your orders and save even more money. So what I encourage people to do is write down products somewhere in your planner or on your phone that are your wish list items that maybe you're like, I just can't squeeze in the budget yet. And then look at how much that is and think about it. $50 cash for every member that uses your referral link to get their own premium starter kit. How many products is that going to help you get every month on your wish list to help make sure you're swapping out the products in your home for toxin-free options, and also just really doing more to support your family's health and things like that. So those are the ways that I have, and I wanted to keep this about a half an hour, which I'm pretty close to doing, I think. So that's what I have for you guys. I will load this up into our YouTube channel as soon as I can, hopefully tonight. And if you get yourself and your members subscribe to it, it'll send an email every time. At least it's supposed to. I think it does. Every time we get something new uploaded onto there. And then we'll just keep you guys educated on that. If you guys have any ideas on what we should do for future topics, let me know. But we'll keep these because these are really basic. You can feel free to send them to your new people if you're like, I don't even know what to tell them. I mean, like I have somebody who used my referral link. I don't know what to tell them. They asked me for, you know, they got this and they want to do this, and now I don't know how to tell them about this and stuff like that. So then you can send them this video anytime you want. And real quick, I'm going to get some, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to stop recording